the soul, Chris. Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is another edition of American Car Classics Radio Podcast, and you are our friends because we're here for you. I'm Kenny. This is Chris.
Howdy.
Bryce over there.
Hello.
Hope everybody's doing good, man. What's with the beanie? We're in Florida.
It don't matter right now where you're at. The United States is cold.
I think we have the heat on in here up to 76 degrees, and it doesn't matter because I'm still freezing. This is just for show. I'm kidding. We're fine here.
It is cold though. It is cold. That is no joke. It's cold.
Bryce,
Florida.
how you been doing? You're cold. You got a jacket on. It looks like you're cold too.
Yeah, I know how to handle this kind of shit. I came from Seattle.
Yeah, but looking at you makes me cold because you dress up like an Eskimo. Put the camera on you for a second. I want to see the jacket real fast. There you go, man. I'm saying.
He's ready to go.
Woo! Yeah. So how's everybody doing? We're good?
Good, man. You know what? We're south enough in Florida where we didn't get all that white stuff that North Florida got.
Yeah, 9 inches in Pensacola.
Was it 9?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 6. That's crazy.
No,
9 inches is real snow at that point, and they don't have anything to deal with that up there. I'm sure. I'm sure they don't have salting. They don't have.
Didn't
plows.
the governor he declared a state of emergency?
Oh yeah. I love though when I went to I go to live cams a lot, so I went to the Pensacola beach cam, and people are out there walking in it, and it looks like beach, but it's not. It's snow, and it's just that's incredible. It's just so funny to see that much snow coming in here from Florida. It just isn't normal, so it was amazing to see.
It's not.
Mecum auction just got wrapped up, and they had it out of town just in time. Except they're heading out to Vegas. So is it any better out there, Chris?
No, it's cold in Vegas.
Okay.
Winters in Vegas are cold.
Yeah,
they are cold. But yeah, when they were here, it was gorgeous.
Oh, the weather was well. Yeah, no, it rained. The last weekend it rained, but it was
the last day, right?
Yeah, right. It was the last day.
Yeah,
but it was a great time and a great event. Chris, we went out there. You got to go. I've got your media pass. So you get to hang it as memorabilia for your stuff going into 2025. We want to thank awesome. David Morton, the director of marketing out there at Mecum Auctions, for taking care of us like he does. It's always a good time. 4,500 cars, breaks a record.
Did it?
Yeah.
That's a lot of cars. You know what, man? It's overwhelming, the sheer number of vehicles that are out there. You can't see them all. I don't know how you...
No. Is that the first time you've been to that?
It is.
Okay, I had the same experience. I mean, I brought my camera with me. I'm like, let's go.
You're going to start taking pictures. I walked
in and I'm like, where do you start?
Where do you start?
Bryce, we started right in the gate. We took that first corner and we went down and you started low profile. There were about 50 cars lined up. And then I lost you and it was like, he's gone. I had to find you later.
It was, I was not emotionally prepared. It was the same thing. Went to my first turkey run.
Yeah.
You know, I was filming for like 2.5 hours.
Well, it's based around a 2.5 mile racetrack. I mean, that's kind of a lot of area.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's Mecum is a circus by all accountability, and the fact that they bring it in, and I've registered cars, so I've been in from the front where you have to do everything, set your car up to get inside, setting it up, making sure numbers are, everything's ID'd and lined up, keys are tagged and brought on, drivers are assigned to the cars. There's so much to it, and they make it run like it's smooth every time. We probably don't see the problems, but and we're behind the scenes a lot, Chris. We're looking at stuff or whatever, but we don't see any issues. I mean, they just look. You can't control the weather.
Nope.
You can't park everything inside.
Nope.
So shit happens.
Did it rain again?
It rained the last day.
The last day, yeah.
But last year it rained a lot.
Yeah, and they had problems.
A lot of problems.
Yeah. And
I wondered if they had more protocol in line for that. We have what I call a car condom, plastic little $6 car covers. If I were them, I'd have 1 million of them there for if you're there and you own that car and it's outside. Hey, throw this over it. You got nothing to lose here. It's free.
I'm sure a lot of owners do.
Not from what Bryce and I saw last year.
No, you think they just
travesty?
Let it go, huh?
I mean, convertible tops undone, windows down, stuff. I mean, it was just a shame what happened. But the storms, they come on pretty quick. So I'm not going to, anything like that. But it did happen, and it was horrible to see. And that this Mecum Auctions is 25 plus years old now here in Kissimmee. They've had their fair share of storms to go through and all this. But we did not do the Dodge Experience, which is out there.
Yeah, I really wanted to do that too.
Yeah, I really wanted Marcy to get back and let you do and whatever. But time, it goes fast. And you and I sat down on the block and we watched a lot of cars go through. We went and watched the field. We looked at some things. We wrote some numbers down. In 2 weeks, we'll go ahead and say we're going to be talking to Matt Avery.
Yes.
With
Thank you.
Mecum Auctions, February 6th. We're going to do a show, and we're going to have him on, and we'll get into more specifics through all of that.
Yeah, that one's going to be really good, especially because it's going to be after Mecum and it's going to be after Vegas.
Yeah.
So we'll really see how 25 has come out of the blocks.
Yeah, and normally I find out at the end of the year. Normally I talk to John Kraman about the end of the year show, how their Mecum Auctions year went, and I've been listening to him and seeing the hundreds of millions of dollars that they sell over the year, the fiscal year, and now I know that they are. I mean, I just am anxious to hear what 2024's numbers were. You're a numbers guy, Chris, so getting in there and knowing them is big because you see the growth across the country. You can pick each auction apart, and they'll tell you, hey, Mecum did this well. I love that they come back with this many sold, this many went to bid goes on, this many closed out of bid goes on. They've got all that knowledge and stuff, and it really is fascinating when we get into it. You and I, we were blown away at some of the stuff that was selling for some of the things that we don't understand.
A lot of it didn't make sense.
It doesn't. And I'm not new at this, and you're a numbers guy, but if you take a car with 5 miles on it, okay, I understand that that's going to be a lot. But there is a collection of Corvettes from the 80s and 90s, which nobody likes really. And it's a shame. It's a shame. I know there's some people out there that like them.
There's people out there that like them now. They're gaining popularity.
I own one. So it's a parts.
I can't say I like them, but if I could get one for under $5K.
Right, but that's not going to
all day long.
But 12 grand, Bryce, and you are all in for one with 25 miles on it. Pick your color, pick your automatic. They're there. They've got them going through.
You know
how many Corvettes were at?
Well, that's what we were talking about. Between Corvettes and Mustangs, they had to have been no less than 40% of the entire for sale field.
You're sticking to that number because you said it. And I went back.
I did. I said it.
I went back with Tiana and I said after the show, I said, Chris said he for, and we're looking. And by God, you're right, man. I really am blown away by how many Corvettes and Mustangs are on.
And here's the thing, which typically rarity, right, is what drives up a price.
Yeah.
But there's so many of them. So why? But we saw a few Corvettes, right, that, in the early 2000s, 2001, 2004, 5, whatever, they sold for like 22 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. If you go to an auction in Italy, is it going to be just filthy with Ferraris and Lamborghinis?
You would think
is it
so.
just because we're in the United States, or
That's a good.
Well, we've got Ferraris and Lamborghinis too and stuff. But here, so out of the Corvettes, if we're going to say that was 40% Mustangs and Corvettes, I'm going to say 25% of it was Corvettes. And I noticed that on all the Corvettes, there are a lot more older ones than there are newer.
Yes.
And then I see the Mustangs, and there are a lot more newer ones than older ones. Think perusing through there. How many older Corvette or Mustangs did you see? A few handfuls. Not all the new Roushes, all the new everything coming out, all the Snake, all the Cobras, all the, there was a lot of new Mustangs.
There was.
A lot.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the fan bases,
Well, that's
the 66 Mustangs, while cool.
Yeah. We saw the Shelby GT 350s and the fastbacks and stuff.
Those were really, really
I love those.
awesome.
But those are those
were
are multi-$100,000 cars.
Yeah, that's that's.
Yeah, I really think I saw a couple 65s and 66s, 67s for sale. I didn't see many. And but how many 63 split windows did I see? It's only 1 year. I must have seen 15 of them.
Yeah, they had like a circle of 5, I think, in one area. They had like 5.
I think there was.
Was it 8?
They went. Yeah, it was like
it was in a big circle.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. I don't know how much money was sitting there or something, but just was incredible. Yeah.
But then the prices of what they sold for just didn't make sense. Like on our Haggerty last episode, we talked about the Haggerty top 25, right?
Top 11, what?
Yeah, top 11.
Yeah.
Or so they suspect that's going to be
hot this year,
right?
Yeah.
Well, DeLorean was on there.
Yeah. What other cars were that we took note of? The Volvo.
The Volvo.
Grand Cherokee. There was a Wagoneer. Grand Wagoneer.
Nah, Wagoneer wasn't on this list.
Oh.
That was on the top 24 sold in 24.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so the DeLorean, they suspect the price would be about $75K for DeLoreans now. We saw 3 sold.
Yeah.
1 sold for 45. Was that right? 45, I think. Another one sold for 50.
55.
and one sold for 110.
Right. And the one that was done at Back to the Future, with the bids goes on at at 80 or 70.
It got to 80 and didn't sell, and it was all done up like Back to the Future. It looked really good.
It was. Somebody took really time and really looked at the movie stuff and set it up and did. And you think about how many hours of effort you've got into finding this and locating it and doing it and for presentation. I mean, he had the whole grinder up on the top for the fusion machine and stuff. It was all pretty cool. Yeah. So,
and the Volvo P1800, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
We saw that go across the block. Haggerty's expecting the value to be about $44K, and it was at 20.
Half that.
I don't know where values are at anymore.
And you go off this list and you own that, so you put it out there. How many cars went at no reserve that we watched that was scary?
Oh,
can you just hang your balls out there like that?
If you don't have a lot into it, I don't. Oh, you talk about somebody who likes to go no reserve. Let me shift gears real quick on you. Richard Rollins. Everybody knows who Richard Rollins.
Oh yes,
is. Gas Monkey. Well, he has currently going through Barrett Jackson 3 vehicles, 2 trucks that I know of, and I think he's got another one that's going through. Anyways, he has that famous skid mark C10, and he has a 78 Ford. That's all looks like a farm truck on the outside, but it's got a Cobra motor in it, and it's $100,000 in parts. He's running them through Barrett Jackson this weekend, or right now.
No reserve.
No reserve.
And where are they? What city? Scottsdale?
I don't know where Barrett's at right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's some people I would like to talk to Richard and say, hey dude, what, man, you're so brave.
Right. Well, is it the fact that when you get to a certain level of notoriety, known for the quality of your build, whether it's high or mid-range quality, but when you are fat stacking, I'm assuming he's a multimillionaire at this point.
I would assume so.
So when you gamble, if you're a gambler, I'm a gambler. I'm a hustler. I throw a lot to it, thinking it's gonna stick, and half the time it does, half the time it doesn't. So with that, if you've got the money to not, it's not gonna bankroll you, kill you, then go for it.
Yeah, but he's got so much money.
But he goes up on there stage, woo! Give me a beer,
yeah.
And does it, and you hope it sticks. Sometimes it doesn't. You just gotta. But no,
I'm gonna look those trucks up because I really want to see what they go for.
Is Barrett more of a no reserve? I believe Barrett is more of a no reserve thing.
Is it?
Yeah, but Barrett also comes in here, and a big auction for Barrett is 400 cars. They like the 300.
They're a lot more picky, though, aren't they?
Oh, you are bringing in. Look, their salesmen are wearing tuxedos. Their break room for media, top notch.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Real good shrimp cocktail.
So we can go to that one down in West Palm if you want to.
Yeah.
We can check it out and everything
else.
About it. I'm a Mecum guy because Mecum caters to the working man. Mecum,
the everyday man,
makes you feel at home.
Yeah, I thought they were super hospitable.
Yeah.
For my first time there.
Yeah, we went on Friday the 11th.
Yep.
Friday the 12th. I think it was the 12th. Or the 10th, I think it was the 10th. But we went on the 10th. And so the auction had already been going on for just one day. I think it started on the 9th through the 19th. Something like that. 7th through the 19th. So we got in there pretty early. We saw...
Let's get some pictures. We got some pictures.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of Buicks lined up.
Oh.
Some GSs that were beautiful.
You know what? This is just Chris's speculation. I think Buicks are really going to start taking off.
The Wildcats. There's a lot of them out there that people haven't put into a lot of money. But then you think about the Grand National,
and that's
always been a collector.
That's always going to be expensive.
But it's a Buick.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a Grand National.
It's its own thing. I
really think Buick's going to start taking off, in my opinion, because you can get into them for fairly inexpensive. You can get parts for them fairly reasonably. And we just talked about last episode was cheaper to buy versus build. And this is one you can get into and actually build for a reasonable sum of money. Or you can buy one that's already running and driving for halfway reasonable price.
I wonder what it would take, Bryce, if you were to pull up the video I sent, maybe Chris sent, whatever, the 57 panel van. This one sticks in my head because you're going to bring up cheaper to buy it built. I want to throw that mulligan in there where you can build something real cheap and have a little. So I let Bryce. We can throw it on later if we need to or whatever. But right now, I'll just say that we watched this 1957 panel van go through. It was all patinaed out.
It was very cool.
It had a turbo diesel.
It did.
It had a dually rear end tucked under it, so you couldn't tell it was a dually. Had that big hump that went across
the back.
And it had this little bright orange slogan on it that just
milk and eggs
popped, and then it said milk, eggs, and
whatever it was,
bacon or whatever it was. And this thing had rust holes. It had staples holding the back carpet together.
It wasn't carpet. It was like a vinyl wood look.
Right.
And you could see the staples.
It was. It looked like shit. No, I'm saying it, didn't it?
It wasn't. It wasn't bad. It depends on what you ask for that. The dollar amount you ask for that.
If you look at that closely.
If he wants $20,000 for it, I think it's done well.
I think for the ingenuity of the dually tucked,
it didn't sell,
and the diesel, I think that absolutely 20 to 30 is very, very cool, because something that old with a diesel, people just dig that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
It didn't sell, Chris. It went across and went to the bid goes on at $70,000.
So I wonder what his reserve. You asked, didn't you? Didn't you ask what the reserve was? I did not ask
the reserve on that one.
Oh, okay.
Man, I'd love to be able to go back in time and see that.
Yeah, I wonder what the reserve was.
Yeah,
we did on $70,000, dude. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If I had a reserve of 100 and it got to 70, I got a chubby. I'm going to knock it off. Sell it. I don't want to take that home. What are you going to do? Go to the next auction? You're going to go to the car show and hope a guy's looking at it? He's not going to look at it. If you looked at it close, you weren't going to buy it for 70. That's what I'm saying. People that bid on it had to have not been out in the field looking.
Yeah.
Couldn't have. Or else my 52 is going to get me a couple 100,000 and I'm walking away, man. I just don't know how. I don't know. So we're right back.
Well, that's the next project, right?
Yeah, full circle. What makes some of these things stupid appealing, and what makes some of them just blah? We saw a Chevy pickup truck.
C10.
That's C10.
Oh, I wanted that C. Bryce, you got to pull that C10 up.
Short bed dually.
There it is. 1981 Chevy C10 pickup. This one,
bro.
I want to do it to Pearl.
Oh,
I do. I want to do. Look at this.
No.
It is a half-ton dually.
Yeah, not a step side.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Box
They stuck a dually rear end on a half-ton single cab pickup.
Yeah.
And the pictures don't do this thing justice. I need to look and see what it's sold for.
Yeah, because
I love those. They got the dually wheels like on the
Made
front.
It look tough.
Man.
Yeah.
That was a good looking truck.
Loved it. Yeah, we had a great time. We saw a lot of stuff, and we had some great weather. But the amount of cars, like you said, it's tent after tent after tent, and then there's field after field after field after field. And you want to go out here and check out the stuff that's already gone through, but you want to go check the stuff that's going to go through, and then you want to check what's going on the block, and then you want to get something to eat, and then you want to take a breath. And
we were there for 6 hours?
Yeah,
it didn't feel like I was there for 6 hours.
No,
and we had the worst hot dog and hamburger we've ever eaten in our life.
But I've got a picture of Mary, and Mary was the most awesome person.
She was.
At Mecum. I told her we'd give her a shout out for her. So Mary, thanks for the food. It's not your fault.
No,
there was a big line. We thought it would be good. It was.
It was terrible. It was terrible. All right, what other vehicles we got? The Bryce Kenny got some pictures of.
Here's
that's Mary.
There's Mary.
Yeah, she took a time to take a picture with me. That was so awesome. She had this guy that was kind of a tool ahead of us, and he just kind of ran her around a little bit. She just had that smile on the whole time.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I said, "You're awesome." She said, "No, you're awesome." I said, "But you're the awesomest," and she let it go at that. So, super cool. Oh, hey, look. So we're gonna do this for a second, Bryce. Right in the middle of the show. Fuck. Look. So I got to Mecum Auctions with Chris on Friday. And like I said, that was the 10th of January. I was looking forward to seeing my friend John Kraman. When I got there, his desk was empty, where he talks about everything right there on the block. Jack, Barrett, and everywhere were in the back and doing their thing. And I took a picture and said, "Hey, I'm here." I sent it to him. I said, "I'm here. I'm like, where are you?" And it was delivered. Friday night went on, it never got answered. Okay, late, cold, whatever. Saturday, nothing. I went back to the auction on Monday. So Friday was the 10th, and Monday was the 13th. And Tina and I were sitting watching the auction from a little bit up higher. And we went to go leave, and we went out this way, and we went and I said, "Oh, it's a handicap exit." We turned around, and Tina saw a poster board, and it was a picture of John, and there was a birth year, and there was
This year.
And it didn't even click. I was like, "Oh, wow, what does that mean?" And she looked at me, white as a ghost, and said, "I think John died." And I looked at the picture, and his smile, it just, man, it flipped me out. And I hopped the rail and went right down front. The middle of the auction's going on, and Frank Mecum was there, and he's a good guy. I'm not going to call him a friend because I don't know him like that. But I just went up there, and I looked at him, and I started crying. And I said, "John died," and he looked at me, just put his hand on my shoulder, and I went right to the ground. And people came around, thought I'd passed out or whatever, but I was just crying. He knelt down and put his arm around me and consoled me as best he could about it. I just was in shock. It really took me back to when Dale Earnhardt died. It was just somebody that you don't think is going to, it's not going to be there. You go every year. You go to the auction twice a year. I've seen him up in Chattanooga. I've seen him around, and we always talk during the year. It isn't just about the auction, whatever. John was kick-ass. He could play a sick guitar. He owned classic cars, modern Corvette stuff, and he's a family guy. And I believe he was an airplane mechanic way back.
He was, yeah. He was an aircraft mechanic way back.
And, I'm still affected by it because, it just sucks.
He reached a lot of people over the years. We posted a kind of a memorial to him a couple of days ago on Facebook, or excuse me, YouTube. The amount of comments of people that knew him or just knew him via TV and just loved tuning in to Motor Trend to watch, and listen to him and his wealth of knowledge. I mean, it was very far reaching. It was very eye opening. I never got a chance. We were supposed to interview him a couple times last year. I never got a chance to actually talk with him. But there were so many people like, "Oh, John was this, and John was that, and John was this." So, to have that kind of impact left behind is awesome.
John's daughter Nicole reached out through Facebook and Messenger, saying that she had seen my video post and was that it warmed her a little bit to know that, man, not even his kid could really care that much about somebody, but.
And he was a great friend of the show.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I was impressed, having come across a lot of people in high profile positions. He didn't have any sense of arrogance whatsoever.
No.
He was just, he was just happy to talk to people and talk to people about cars.
Yeah.
And just a really special person.
If you knew him, you loved him. And it's absolutely the epitome of truth. So to his family, to everybody, I'll simply say that we really, really love that we got to share your dad, your husband, your brother. Thank you for letting him get out there and do what he did so great. And you'll be missed, John, for decades to come. I'm telling you, brother, I will miss you so much. So,
Let's lighten the load a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's get back into
Life goes on.
What you guys saw at Mecum.
Yeah. What did we not see? That's probably the easiest thing. This 85 Jeep C7, which was pretty cool from afar.
Yeah. 50-footer all day long.
Yeah.
And what do we think? We thought this thing, I guessed around 12.
Yeah. And it went for a lot more.
Did it?
Yep. It went for like 20 something. And look at that rust.
Look at the rust. Man, I think I even said 7 or something.
I think you did say
and I think it went for 12 or 14 or 17
that might have
or
been
something, right?
I know it was over what you wanted.
It was higher than what I thought.
No reserve.
And this is what I'm telling people.
And you know what? I don't like those tires on a Jeep. A big lifted up Jeep like that, and you got all terrains.
Yeah.
No.
No, you want a
Yeah.
rough country type of tire,
Yeah.
and not that glorified street wheel either.
That,
Right.
That's exactly what it is. It is okay.
So break this down for me as someone
That's the
who
driver's
doesn't
door
know
jam. Yeah.
So this rust, this is chassis rust, this is body rust.
No, this is structural almost, because this is right here at the A pillar where the windshield's mentioned, where you need strong structure that if you roll this thing, that A bar is going to keep it up. And that right there, that don't look like it's going to keep a lot up if it rolled with the weight on top of it. So that's a very, very significant area for rust. And lower below it, it gets into where the weld bead joints are and stuff. So yeah, that's a concern to me. And if there's that much sticking through the rust is cancer. You're just going to call it right out what it is. Rust is cancer.
100%. And that's been there for a while.
Yeah, and so you see that it started somewhere deeper and it goes in, and you're going to find a hole. Now you're going to go to the inside of the electrical panel and all that stuff, and you're going to have a problem. So it's not good. It's not
And
good.
those older Jeeps are known for rust issues. We didn't crawl and look at the chassis on that
No.
frame on that one, but I wish I thought about it when we were there, because I would definitely crawl under there and see
How much more?
because those you got two types of Jeeps, and I like Jeeps. You got ones that are rusted out and the ones that aren't.
Right. Mine is not rusted out. I have no rust on it. Barrett Jackson will sit here and have the camera in the runway, and so as the car comes over, they always show you that undercar
underbelly,
carriage, view, and I think that's kind of cool. It gives that another perspective. Here again, they are two different types of auctions, and there's a reason that they have the numbers they have versus what Mecum has on theirs. So
That's all right.
we did look at a Dodge pickup. Remember, I was like, I don't know how it's raised. It didn't look like it didn't have blocks on it, didn't have the saddles or anything else. We looked under that thing, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, that was the Ram Charger.
Yeah.
The Ram Charger.
Yeah,
I'll put a picture up.
2500 with a
Yeah, I'll put a picture of it later.
Okay.
I don't think I had loaded one.
Here's this one.
Oh, this is the one I wanted to bid on. This is the one I was almost.
looking for Ranger.
This is the one I almost went and got a bidder's pass for. So my grandpa had this truck, and they're not easy to find like this.
Oh, that one was cool because it was clean. Now this is not the North Carolina documented. That's not that.
No,
one.
it is that one.
Is that one?
That's the North Carolina one. Yeah.
So
there it is.
It was very, very clean for what it was.
Yes.
It was all original. Survivor to the end.
There I am. I was like, I need this truck.
Yeah.
I wanted that truck because I remember learning to drive in that truck, not that specific one, but my grandpa's running to drive in it, driving around apple trees and peach trees and all that kind of stuff in Tennessee.
And the Ranger on this is just a package. It's not that it's not a. Is it a different style? Was there an F100 that wasn't a Ranger? It was the same truck?
It is an F100 Ranger. So Ranger was a package back then.
Because it developed into its own model.
Right. Later on it did. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know really until this either because I'm not a Ford guy. But how cool that you were able to go back in time, going here, looking at an auction as a spectator, saying, man, I remember that. Man, I remember that. And I loved it. I loved hearing
it. And it sold no reserve. That was really what was teasing me to get my bidder's pass.
Yeah, I think
that no reserve.
I think it went for 31.
Yes, it went 31 because they were looking for 32 and it sold for 31.
Yeah, the other one that we saw that needed a lot went for 17, 15, somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah,
because I remember
still a lot for it.
I remember when you asked me, he's like, what do you think that was going to sell for, the one I wanted?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what it's going to sell for. I know it should, and it should sell for at least 30.
Yeah.
And it did.
We're right there. Yeah.
Here's the next one up.
This is a Monte Carlo.
Oh, this is when you hated this car.
I hated this car.
You hate this car.
It's such an ugly car.
Man. It's almost was a Lumina. You know what I mean? It was really an ugly model of the Monte Carlo, which here again, you don't know me. I've got a 70 Monte. I am.
This was a limited edition though, right?
Like
how many?
Dale Earnhardt, one of 3,200 ever made or something. It was a very low. But it's a front wheel drive. 3.8 liter and just not. It's like I said, just about a little bit one step over the Lumina, but. And I don't think it sold.
It did not sell.
Yeah.
When bid goes on.
Yeah. Well, I started looking in the background at pictures, and I'm seeing all the Corvettes we talked about.
Yeah, look, there's three of them right there.
And there was another yellow one behind us. And you look in the side of the car, you can see the yellow one on the other side.
Yep.
It was. They were everywhere.
They were.
There's another one behind the yellow one back there.
Yeah.
Not even kidding, man. You can't make that stuff up. Crazy.
Did you say that Monte Carlo is a front wheel drive?
Yeah, I believe that's a front wheel drive, 3.8 liter. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was just a Lumina. Maybe it is still rear wheel drive. but it's a V6,
Yep.
and it's just got that body style that
Is ugly.
was ugly. There was nothing Monte Carlo about it.
Yeah, the 90s didn't have a lot of great
They did.
examples
No.
really from any. I mean, they were one notch up from the 80s.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just tried to like bubble everything. 80s was block everything.
Yeah.
Everything's a block.
Yeah,
And then
the neon.
they tried to round
Ugh.
everything
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah. It's funny how one manufacturer will follow the other one's suit. We liked this thing. I've got a 48 Willys out in front of my shop,
Yeah.
and I would love to have been able to. If you'd have gotten a bidder pass for the Ranger, I'd have bought this in a second. I think
Yeah,
it
that
went
one
for
sold.
$4,800 or something stupid, $6,000. It was really dumb.
That one?
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
thought
we
it
were,
went for more than that.
No, we were blown away because we didn't get it. We didn't get why did that just happen? I would have gone there and sold it to my customer. He's got more in his POS than that.
That's right. I remember you saying that. Yep.
I'd have bought it, just thrown his title in the fucking glove box and said, "Here, pay the bill." Man, it sold cheap and it looked cute. It was a great color. It popped.
The only thing I think
stood
about
out, the white wheels
when
and
it
the
comes to
white wheels.
auctions,
Love it.
there's a lot of unknowns with auctions, as you know, and especially it being over 14 days. How long were they here?
14 days. But if you've got 10 acres, that's a kick-ass little truck to run out there and go around your land in.
Oh yeah, but I think with auctions it depends on who's in the audience that day as well.
Well, but they do online bidding and
Yeah, but you got to have people who are.
you can go in and this is Mecum. You can go in and say, "Hey, I'm Paul, and I want to go ahead and bid. You got my check. I'm good. I want to go up to 35. That's my limit. I'm not going to be around. Put one of your auctioneers on my, and you got the authorization to bid up.
Yeah, you'll get a few people like that, but I think the general masses that go there to ooh and ah and hem and haw and to spend the day there, right? And then something just strikes their fancy, like
Right.
well, like my grandpa's truck, right?
Yeah.
Like here we go.
And a lot of the catalog comes out with only a percentage of the cars registered already. People are registering up to the day of.
Yeah.
And so the catalog comes out a month ahead of time, so you're not seeing half of what's on.
But then
going on.
those you got to be thinking the people who are getting the catalog, the people who are planning, registering online, bidding online. Those are the people who are the more aficionados, the more
right.
in the realm versus the everyday guy who just kind of stumbles across grandpa's old truck.
Right.
Like, I mean, if I had deeper pockets, I would have paid $50 for that truck. This one was sick. So this was a 71 C10, and that's got a big old diesel slammed into it.
World's first Cummins C10. He had the exhaust tucked under the inside of the bed rail and popping out the passenger side. Those rear things, those are vents.
Yep.
That's like a NASCAR style manifold coming out the bottom.
Go back to that last picture, Bryce. See, look how far back that engine's sitting. So you would think it'd be in your lap.
Yeah.
But in the interior, it's really not that intrusive on the inside of it. I was really surprised at how well they did that.
I think they have the firewall panned out a
Is
little
this the
bit.
same one here?
That's the same one,
Okay.
yep.
And that's why he's got that big center console right there, but it's ending underneath the stereo.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a fat between the firewall and that, he's got a spacer or something. He's built it out kind of.
Yeah, he did a good job with it. I mean, here it looks more intrusive than it really did in person. But it was amazing, absolutely amazing, that one.
Oh, cool truck, man. Cool truck without a doubt.
Cool. And then there was a rad looking Dodge that was all. Did you get a picture of that in here?
The 6-wheel, I think I said.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. This thing was a crazy
It was
monster.
like a 91 Dodge D something, I think it was originally. I mean, it doesn't even resemble
right. It's
what
all,
it used to be.
It's all bagged, and the rear axle is just an axle tube with hubs on it, and he has all the solenoids and bags, everything on top of it. It's got a mid pivot point on the axle, on the frame right behind the cab. So comes up, lifts, separates, and then pulls out. And I saw it go across the block in a video that Mecum shared, and it was dope looking. It was dope looking.
Did it sell?
I didn't see what the video stopped before the sale. So we'll have to go back and
They're
check some of these.
estimating $350,000 to $500,000 for that. Who buys that?
And what are you doing with it?
And what do you do with it?
You go to car shows, I
This
guess.
is where but with your $350,000,
Is that why you buy it? You just buy it to go to car
car?
shows? I mean, damn.
But some people have got buildings, Chris, they go on for days full of cars. God,
I know. That's what I keep saying. The good Lord won't let me win the lottery because I would have a building full of crap like that.
I've got 28 of them sitting out in the fucking rain right now.
Not like that.
If I had a building, man,
We'd have that 57 Bel Air limo.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if he went down to $7,000 on that yet. So
I don't know. I have to look it back up.
Because we don't have space. My garage right here in the studio is only. I could knock that back wall out and just let it drive through the kitchen. No dishes next week.
Yep.
All right, Bryce, where are you?
I'm sitting right here. The last thing we had was just a video. I think you intended for this to be, to like have the audio play.
Okay.
We didn't get that set up.
Oh, we didn't?
So, I mean, it's just.
Oh, no. Oh, my audio. Okay, so I'll just come in. So right here, I'm at Mecum. This is on Monday. This is Tiana and I have just shown up. We're in that back lot just off the main entrance. And this is where the rain really took havoc last year. But right here, this was a beautifully well done Chevy Duramax. And I mean, this thing, look at the differentials on them. Man, it's crazy. Can I read it real fast? 2011 Chevy Silverado 4500 HD dually flatbed. Not a flatbed because it had a pickup bed on it, but they've done altercations in the back. They chopped this thing and they brought the bed of the floor up. And what I'm going to show you is that this thing was beautiful, except that it had orange peel. I mean, how much of the wheels? Bryce,
the suspension alone.
About? I mean, this thing is beautiful, man. Beautiful. Right here, I'm going to show you a weld line.
I hope it comes out on camera.
Oh, it does. It does.
Because I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's bad.
Right here on the left, you can see it right in the center. That's a weld bead, and you can see it come all the way down the whole bedside, and I'm talking 8 feet long.
Now, why would they go to all that trouble?
That's what we said.
Right here, look at that. Look how horrible. Oh, it started to split. Steve, I won't say his last name, works at the shop. He 32-year bodyman out at General Motors, and I asked him, what the hell? He's like, never in a million years. He says 3 hours, Kenny, and I would have that gone, painted, blended in. You'd never even see it.
Don't tell me you couldn't afford it.
Don't tell me, right. It didn't happen on the way there. The paint isn't cracked. You knew it was there when you painted over.
Yeah.
It's almost like that was the last thing, and somebody said, "You're done. You got to get this. You got to get this painted."
I said to Tiana, "This must have been a midnight hour. Finish, throw together, get it there." But it sat there
some
for
Discovery
5 days
Channel
before it went on
stuff.
the block. So why did you have to get it there that early so people could see it? I noticed that 5 seconds in, I didn't even look the truck over that well. I didn't look at the other side. I was appalled at that. Oh man! And somebody that's going to bid on that doesn't even see that. They don't go up that.
Maybe
high. The red doesn't show the shadow like black would or something. So I mean, I want to know what that went for. I mean, I want to know. I want to call the buyer and go, "Hey, when you got that home, you see that giant well, I can fix that."
So what I'll do for the audience in post is, if I can find these sold, I'll pop up the sold prices if they sold, and I'll pop up, the bid goes on if it went on. So
cool.
Well, that was Mecum.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
It was a good time, man. I'm glad that you got to go. Look, I'm glad that Bryce, I got to take you for the first time and that you just loved it and everything else. Tiana, I took her for her first time, and then she got to do, she actually got to do interviews with me and John. John and I walked around and we did some interviews that were in the area, in the paddock area that we were just looking at some cars and highlighting a few things and stuff. I'd like to find those interviews and get them to you, Chris, so that you can repost them if they ever did get posted or not, and somewhere through our library of on Facebook stuff instead of YouTube. But I'm really glad to be able to take people and enjoy this. We gave a couple of sets of passes away to some good people. Rob Veris with the 2014 Corvette that we put on the dyno, he got a pair, and Richard Weiss, a good customer, a good friend of ours, got a pair, and we had a good time. And we certainly do thank Mecum so much for allowing us to come out there and invade their circus and invite you guys out and show you what it's like and everything else.
Yep, they're real good supporters. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we do this, Chris. We do this because we're car guys. We love to sit here and everything else. Bryce, you're getting ready to go to the 24-hour Rolex, right, at Daytona?
Yep, Rolex 24.
Yeah.
It's kind of kicks off sports car racing season.
Crazy cars out there, but it is certainly
It's too cold for that, man.
it's something. Well, it's going to warm up beautifully. Look, it's cold now, but in 7 days we're going to be talking mid-70s
Yeah.
back out on the beach.
I think this Saturday we're supposed to be back close to 70.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll get
I know
better
Sunday
on
is for
Saturday.
sure. Yeah, it's Bryce has a great time, and he's taught me a lot about the IMSA stuff, and I get to learn more and more. And it's such a wide diversity of race cars, race enthusiasts. You talk about Gen Z, and are they going to save the classic car world?
You know-
It's so crazy. IMSA is something for everybody. It really is.
It's booming right now. They're really seeing tons and tons of growth, and I think people are ready for it. I know you're a NASCAR guy, but I feel like NASCAR kind of dropped the ball and sort of killed the golden goose in a lot of ways. Whereas IMSA is keeping it pure. You know, these cars that are on track, you can go out and buy one, not set up and homologated like that, but it's very relatable, especially for these young guys that are breaking in. They get to watch a Porsche 911 scream by. They get to watch, the
So it truly
late
is a
model
stock
Corvette.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the GTD class, they change out transmissions, they change out brakes. There's a few other things to homologate, and they get them so that they're all very, competitive with each other so that it's good racing. But those cars are more or less the production model that you could go get.
That's pretty
I want
cool.
you, I
That's
want you to
pretty
pay
cool.
attention to the crowd, Bryce, when you go. And I want you to come back and I want you to give me knowledge about what percentage was 30 and under. I want to know, were there young couple running around without their parents or whatever that you're like 18 and 20 and you're blown away that they're there. I want to know that there's always those 60 and over guys. I want you to tell me a little about the reason is
We posted a short the other day about Gen Z from the last episode, right? It was just a short, it's from Haggerty. It wasn't even us. And man, I was getting roasted by millennials and Gen Zers because I was like, oh yeah, Gen Z and millennials, they like these cars. And like, whatever, dude, I was born in this time and I like this car and I like this car. And I was like, well, that's fine. Roast me all you want. I don't really care about that. What I found awesome was the fact that these guys, as young as they are, they're really getting into it. And they really are the generation that's going to save the car culture. And it almost feels like it I know I'm going to get roasted for this because it's not going to come out the way I intended, right? It's almost like the new Gen Z, or Gen Z is like the new Gen X.
Well, they're a lot closer.
And we're the boomers now. The Gen Xers are now the boomers.
I mean,
Because-
having dated both millennial women and Gen Z women, I can tell you they're very, very different. The way they think, their tastes are different.
100%.
And I can relate to Gen Z people a lot easier than I can relate to millennials. I don't know why.
I feel the same way because I know being an Xer, everybody, Boy George and everybody was how they were dressing back then and all the 80s, and the 80s were crazy in colors and all that. And then the boomers thought that, Gen Xers were just the terrible thing, right? And now, you see all the Gen Zers and they have all this crazy and the TikToks and all that other stuff, right? But it's now their time and they're not offended by anything. They don't care, just like Gen Xers didn't care. So I'm really curious, to see how the Gen Zers save the car world.
my sister Cassie is born in 65, so she's a baby boomer last year. I'm 66, so I'm not. We aren't very different on our culture loves and stuff of whatever, but we're right there on the cusp of each other. And we were, raised in the same house and created by the same parents. But I do see a trend per generation.
So, I mean, all you Gen Zers that are watching right now, I hope there's a bunch of you. Put in the comments, what's your favorite car? If your top three, what is your top three? I know, Kenny, you just asked your
I asked my daughter's boyfriend, Dustin.
His top three.
I just asked him his top three, and
I asked my daughter's husband, they're Gen Zers.
Okay.
His top three, haven't gotten that response. So I'm really curious, man. I really want to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, go ahead. This is where we ask you, okay, like us, subscribe, all that. But we're going to go specific for a second. If you're watching, if you've seen this and you're young, if you're 24 and under, we want to hear what you guys, really your top three, please. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, but But put in the comments your top 3. We're going to share this. And
Top 3 dream cars, right?
Dream cars for the Gen Z.
You're not dream car because now you're asking them to go way over the top, and I want a Bugatti. Give me your top 3. What you think are dope cars right now? If dope is even an acceptable word for you all.
Your top three most desirable, attainable cars.
Attainable cars. Great.
Top 3 cars that you hope that you can get in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And we've got a viewer. We're going to do something about the viewer.
Yeah, we have a viewer.
Let's jump in there. B. What was that? Was A.
So Lance.
Yeah.
So we had a guy email us because he found a segment that we had made a comment about squirrel, found it funny, sent us an email. Super nice guy. Anyway, our episode was about cheaper to buy versus build, and he kind of had a story about that. He went to buy a kit car. It was a Cobra replica kit car from this guy in Kentucky. It was not as advertised. Surprise, shocker, right? When you're buying something from somebody else, it was supposed to be the original guy who ordered it. Wasn't the original guy who ordered it. Had hard times getting it registered and all that. Jumped through all those hoops.
6 months.
Yeah, it took months to get it all done. And anyway, so we got a couple. He sent me a couple before pictures of this Cobra kit car and where he's currently at. It's just pure amazing the amount of how well it looks. First off,
okay,
from especially where it started. Right. So there's his body, right? So I'm a red guy. I love red. I can't wait to see this. Hopefully Lance will update us as he continues to progress throughout there. But it's Cobra kit car. So that's the car. That's MDF. He said particle board.
The dash. Yeah,
it's particle board. But
that's his back seat. That's the back seat. Is that? Yeah, back seat.
No, that's the dash. You see the gear shift right there in the middle. Yeah,
but you can't see where his feet would go, so that's only down to the bottom. So I'm going to assume that's a back wall for your seats. No, that's your dash.
Oh, yeah, there's your dash. But look, the particle board's just
on the floor,
just disintegrating.
Yeah,
and you'll get a better picture in a minute with the rat's nest. And he found scissors underneath it. It was just somebody had encapsulated scissors underneath his ride. So he, thankfully he pulled everything out. I want to say that's the after of.
I'd say that's after. That's pretty darn clean right there.
Yeah, that don't look bad.
That's a before.
Is it a before? No, that's a before. Yeah, that's a before. So
that's an after.
Oh wow,
that's amazing.
I love this guy, Lance. You're beautiful,
that,
bro. You're beautiful.
Now he does have a background in aircraft. So I think he was an aircraft engineer, I believe. So.
I don't like engineers. I'm sorry. No. We love this.
Having built a few computers, I can appreciate good cable management.
I mean,
yes, sir.
Go back to that last picture. From that, to that.
Man, I mean, he just saved a fire down the road one day.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
But if you got a problem with it anywhere, you can go in, you can probe it instantly and know exactly.
Trace it so much easier now.
So we saw some great.
Now look at it.
Oh, dude,
that's so much better than MDF.
So he's got a brake and he's bending metal and he's riveting everything. So that's fine. That's fine.
He's doing all this himself.
Yeah, man, I love this, dude.
Ain't that look at that dash now? Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't. He's going to want to round that tunnel out eventually. I think that's going to be too high for him on the arm and stuff. But if it's lower than what I think, then that's great, man. Gives you a place to put your stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That beautiful.
Oh, he's done a ton of work.
Ton of work.
Yeah. So how long of a project has this been going on? Do you know how long?
I don't know. We were trying to get him on the show, see if he could dial in. He said he'd love to talk about it. Maybe we'll get him on the show. Well, but this is a viewer. So anybody that, you guys have some cool projects. And this is, like you said, this was after the episode of, buying nightmares. And he bought a nightmare, but he is definitely making the best out of it. I mean,
but did he get all this for $25,000? And is his labor affordable as far as life goes, that he's going to be able to say that, look, I could sell this for $140 and be fine, because that's what the replicas were going for.
Yeah. And I think honestly, from what I gathered, the vibe I got from him was the fact that this is more of a labor of love than it is like an investment, right? I mean, I think he just wanted a 427 Cobra replica. I don't blame you. I love Cobras. I mean, I've loved them since I was that dude, that 4-year-old boy that fell in love with Cobras when I was little. They're just so far out of my reach. Yeah. I would buy a replica in a heartbeat.
But you also like the G-Wagons too, Chris.
And I have a very eclectic taste.
But is what we saw typical of these replica kits though? This just particle board?
No, that was a slob. That was a slob.
Okay.
Look, so the MG, the 1960 MG, that's a factory car. It's a original car. It's a real car. Wood on the floorboards. It's what they have.
Yeah.
But that was built with metal. Or was this a kit car that somebody bought? It's never even been done yet.
I don't think it was ever done. I don't think it was ever done.
So how many people start a project and can't finish it?
They're all over Facebook.
All over Facebook.
All over Facebook.
You buy more than you can chew.
Which is typically okay because that's where you get a deal. But you're not getting any deals right now.
You watch a TV show and you think you can do what they did.
Absolutely you do, man. You're like, oh, I just need to buy this, that, and the other.
Because
next thing you know,
YouTube certified as well.
Oh man, I got my master badge in
YouTube certification. No, it's hard.
It is.
I've got a buddy Todd that makes this stuff look easy, but that's because he's very meticulous and he will not let a customer rush him. If you're going to bring this in and nickel and dime me, get out. If you're going to tell me it needs to be in a year, get out. The real truth of it is to be great, to have that blue and orange thing that's 350 to 500,000. I understand it. It takes a lot. And what we've learned is don't start a project until you've bought everything for it. Because then you're going to have that lull, and it's going to sit there.
Yep.
And you got to get something. Well, as a business, you get back in the queue of something else, and it gets slid back in later. But there's a downtime, and if you're limited on space, you can't just roll it outside and cover it. I mean, elements happen, rats happen, things, whatever. So
well, and that's like when I started Pearl, right?
Yeah.
I bought enough to make it running and driving where I could enjoy it.
Yes.
And along the build.
Yeah.
Right. So I can take it out right now and drive it to work. I can daily if I want to do that. But then I'll buy more parts, right? But I can still enjoy my truck, and then we'll go put it on a lift and do something else.
You came to us as the perfect customer saying, look, I bought all these control arms, uppers, lowers, ball joints. Okay, so I bought the shorty headers. Okay, well, you want to do that at the same time, but while we're there, hey, we do this. Oh, yeah, okay, and so it became, it just went very flawless because you had all the parts, you double-checked the fitment and everything else, and then we knew about the talking about it through conversation, what you were going to open up that you want to address that while we're there.
Yep.
And we were able to and make it so much better.
Yep.
So, super cool, super great when it happens that way. It isn't often. So,
real quick, I want to get back to Barrett before we forget.
Yeah.
So Barrett's happening. Barrett's happening right now.
Yeah.
Richard Rollins is selling it.
Yeah.
I want to see what those trucks sell for because I do like those trucks. They're beautiful trucks. If you haven't seen them,
well, one's a 78 Ford, you said, or
I think it's
Ford.
78.
And then, but the other one is his.
It's a C10. Yeah, it's a 60.
It's
70 something. Skid Mark.
Skid Mark truck.
Yeah.
Right.
Which they're both absolutely gorgeous trucks. So I want to see what they sell for, especially because he's got them for no reserve. But there's a little issue at Barrett Jackson.
There was.
From a vendor.
Now, you and I were just looking at these lifts from a vendor at Mecum.
I don't know if it was these lifts.
No, I don't think it was. Ours was red that we looked at, but this was a black one. Was Barrett posted this, I think?
I don't think Barrett posted. I think it was from a spectator.
Okay.
Whoever was there.
Oh!
Yeah.
Bang!
That's a Tri-5 Chevy, man. Of all the cars, you got to do it in one of those.
Look at the food teeing up in the board. Does see the food up in the corner? But look, now listen, I'm going to tell you that there is a difference, and not that Mecum doesn't bring some big money cars. That 917 that Paul knew was $25 million it didn't sell. But this was a clean, nice car. I'll guarantee you.
It was beautiful, man.
Ugh,
my goodness.
Makes my stomach turn.
You know what? I'm not saying it's the lift's fault. I mean, it could possibly be set up, because they're setting these things up so quick, and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, man, no, I'm.
That's a shame. I'm glad nobody got hurt. That was the biggest thing. Nobody got hurt from it.
Yeah, that's a shame, though, man. What a beautiful car to have happen to. Listen, accidents happen everywhere. That's why we carry insurance.
And the last cool thing that we saw on the old interwebs, color changing paint.
Oh, man. Now
look at this from BMW.
I'm going to get this chick on here because I love her anyway. She's over in England. And
she gets to see all the cool stuff in person. We just get to see it on the interweb. But look at this. The paint is literally changing it via an app.
Yeah, brand new BMW. Something that we will never be able to afford. We'll just say it right now. Super cool, super dope. This has 2 paint pigmentations built in underneath their coat, and that by the app you electrically excite the pigmentation that you want, black and white. That's what they had under there. And you can literally change the car color. I think you could change halfway back. You can plex it right here.
Yep.
And
that's the sport mode.
I mean, how dope is that?
That's so cool, man.
That is cool. I mean, you're robbing a bank. You just changed color of your car. It wasn't me.
It was a white
You're looking at a black
BMW.
car, you dumbass.
Not a black
Right. You didn't get the
BMW. What are you
bulletin?
talking
Come on,
about?
I don't know nothing. Dye pack blew up on my face. So, no, I love
That's
that,
super.
man.
You
That
talk
is
about like
awesome.
they always have the chameleon paint,
Yeah.
color, morphing paint. That's a whole nother level
But this is
there.
where technology's getting to, man. What are we on the plex of seeing here? I mean,
And we still got to put air in tires. You can change the color of your car via an app, but you still got to put air in your tires.
I want to be able to put air in my tires. Some of these low pro tires, they're putting 22s and 24s on something. The tire is not even 2 inches. Not even 2 inches.
Hey, our Al's back.
Yeah.
I got a quick tech question on that topic. So I got nitrogen filled tires. I
Yes, you
went
do.
and got that.
Yeah. Oh, you refilled them with nitrogen? They came that way.
No, I went. The dealership did that.
Oh.
Can I pump more air into those, or
No.
can I only pump nitrogen? I
Yep.
figured it has to be nitrogen because they make it.
Pump air,
can.
as soon as you pump air, you've just ruined the ability of the
Yep.
stabilization of nitrogen. That there's so much less movement in the molecule, it just stays more regular more of the time.
So where do you go to get nitrogen?
Pull out your phone and Google it. You go to a dealer.
Yeah.
There are people now. Maybe a Gatto's, maybe a Tires Plus or somebody does that, where you can buy it and it's a service. Dolphin Auto doesn't do it because I'm in a grant and I don't have people that want that refilled and done.
Yeah.
It's a service you pay for.
Yeah, because you got to buy the nitrogen.
Every time
Nitrogen's
you
not
fill
cheap.
up. No, right.
Yeah.
Because in airplanes, in aircraft, we fill our aircraft tires with nitrogen.
Well, the promise is
Commercial?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
Yeah, in the military.
Oh, military. But I'm talking from commercial. They use air.
Do they?
I can't imagine a guy on the tarmac just. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a nitrogen car. I don't know. I never worked on commercial aircraft.
Right. But I know that this is a service, and I've had salesmen come out and say, "Hey, man, you be a nitrogen guy, you won't get people coming to your area." And I'm going to fill fucking tires all day long. So no. Same thing. I don't do the breathalyzers on. Yeah, no. You're drunk and dumb. Go somewhere else. So no, it's not to me worth it, Bryce, in a daily driver car.
yeah.
It holds better.
It does. If you live in a cold climate, I would do it.
Right.
But here it's warm majority of the time. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I got it filled up when it was warm, and now that it's in the 40s and 50s, I'm getting a low pressure indicator.
Just wait till Saturday.
Yeah.
They're going to come right back. All right.
It will. But I don't know on their service, do they do like an AC HVAC system where we have to drain it completely out? Because you want to pull moisture out of it.
That's why nitrogen's a benefit, because it doesn't retain moisture.
Right. But Florida, you're still going to get some. So you want to pull it out to keep the system clean, I think, working functionally. I believe that you'd want to pull it to a vacuum, then refill it. You don't. You just top off.
As long as you keep
it.
it with nitrogen, it
It's
won't
pure.
have moisture in there.
So benefit, because but your rims are aluminum or titanium or something, and they're not going to, magnesium, they're not going to rust anyway.
Right.
So, well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, we had a
it's
tech talk without
right
even.
there.
We didn't even plan that one.
So tune in and drop us some comments on the stuff that we've asked about.
We're so close to
we're
a
close.
milestone subscriber count. We're so
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, 5,000.
We're so close to 5,000.
So be that guy.
Yeah, help us out.
Hit that button. It makes us
YouTube
peak.
tells us a lot. We're getting a lot of people that watch that aren't subscribed.
Yeah.
Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Help us get to 5,000.
But stay safe and take care of your mental health. Talk to somebody. Love yourself. We love you.